Guys, I am so excited that you are here with me today and that we are going to partake in this training together. So, today I'm going to just kind of dive right in. We're going to be talking about how to start crafting and thinking about our ideal self and what that might look like and how we could show up as that person. A lot of times when I work with clients, they come to me and they're unsatisfied with something, whether it's feeling anxious or feeling stressed. There's something happening that they feel like they could be doing better. They could be showing up in a more intentional way. And sometimes it's really easy to get lost in the shuffle, right? Like we show up to work, we see the same people, we do kind of the same things almost every day. And then we look back on maybe the week or maybe months or maybe years and we're like, I feel like I could be like a better person, or I feel like I could be showing up and offering more. And I think that that is so incredible, but it also can feel a little bit debilitating because it's like, okay, I have these desires to do more, to be a better person, and to really show up as my best self, but I'm not sure how to actually go about doing that. So we're going to talk about that today. So step number one, I think, is learning to think about what does your ideal best self actually look like? How does he or she act? What does he or she do in a day? What makes them different from where you feel like you are right now? And so as we start asking those questions and thinking about our lives in that way, something that's really important to keep in mind is that as you identify the things that you want more of in your life or the way you want to show up more, I want you to be really, really sure that you're identifying values rather than goals. So the difference, right? So when I think about a goal, I'm thinking about something that can be ticked off a list, right? So it can be achieved, it's accomplished, it's done. So it's oftentimes external things like my ideal self is really wealthy. My ideal self has a very accomplished job. My ideal self has a romantic partner. So kind of like a check, done, completed, move on. And the problem with that is just because something happens externally, that doesn't mean that's going to change anything internally or how we feel about ourselves. And so your ideal self might be kind of coming back to home. So it might be something that you've felt before, that you've experienced, that you've loved about yourself. Or it might be stepping into a whole new kind of version of yourself or the next level of growth for you. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But if you recognize that when you think about this ideal version of you, that you're really thinking about goals, I want you to start asking your questions of what is that in service of, right? So if I got that new job or higher level or higher paying job, what would that mean for me? How would that be serving to me? What would that give me? What's important or what's meaningful about that thing? Same thing with if it looks like a partner or your body looks a certain way. If you achieved that goal, how would you be different? What would change throughout your life? How would you feel differently? So that way we can start to identify what those values really are. So when I think about values, values are statements about how we want to be in the world, how we want to live our lives, and what we want to stand for, how we want to show up. So a goal may be to get the next best job, but a value may be to feel loved and appreciated. Can you feel the difference there? Can you feel how when we clearly identify our values, those external things don't matter as much as the inner work and what we can kind of bring and give to ourselves, right? So another example might be, well, I want to get married. My best self would be married versus my best self values being loving, right? Or having love in my life. And so that gives you some more power, gives you some more control because you can show up in a loving way every single day. And maybe one day you will find that partner and you'll have a great loving relationship. But regardless, you can feel love and you can be loving in your life every single day. So when you think about your ideal self, I really, really want you to hone in on these values. What do you value? What is most important to you in your world? Another good way to do this is to think about people that you admire. Think about people that have really changed your life or impacted you. What felt really special about this person or their presence? Is there anyone that you can identify in your life that when you're around them, you're just like, ooh, I want to soak up all their energy. I just love it. Can you start to identify what are the things that you love about that person and what about them do you hope to emulate to other people also? Is it their warming nature? Is it their ability to reach out and act like they're really close with you even if you're new? Is it their ability to listen and understand and to share and to hear? What are the things that you really hope to emulate in your own life? And then we can take steps to start doing those and being those. But this is step number 1, is kind of the exploration period. Like, what does this idea of my best self or coming home to this person I once was really even look like? Let's get really, really clear about that. So I want to give you a little exercise to try. And so I want you to journal about your ideal self. And I want you to envision a world where you show up as that person every single day and write out a timeline of a day. What would that look like? What would your social interactions look like? How would you spend your time? How would you show up in the world? What would you stand for? What would you represent? And what would feel really good about those things? And so journal through all of those questions and then see, can I pick out what my values are based on that thing? So I have a really clear understanding of where I'm headed and what that path is going to look like for me. All right, so I'm going to leave you with that for today's training. Good luck. Do the exercise, and I would really, really suggest sitting down in a quiet space, maybe with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or water or something that feels kind of nourishing, maybe playing some music that you really love that feels gentle, and letting yourself have some time to dream about this. Play with it. It could be 10 minutes, it could be an hour. I would suggest either writing or you can type it on your computer, whatever you kind of are feeling. Maybe go sit outside and do this if you feel like nature helps you get more creative and think a little bit more consciously. Do whatever you got to do for you to make sure that you're creating this space where you can really get clear and narrow and emphasize, what is this ideal you? What does it look like to show up as that person? What does it look like to step into that thing? So that way we can take the next steps of actually doing it. So I'm going to leave you with that today. Best of luck. Feel free to shoot me an email or a note or a DM if you'd like some support with this. And I would love to hear your feedback and how this goes for you. All right, bye.